And let's begin as we assured with, in fact, the big showdown in Tamil Nadu. The tensions flaring in the Tamil Nadu Assembly after Governor R.N. Ravi and DMK clashed on the first day of the session. The Tamil Nadu governor, as he has the last 2 years as well, staged a walkout from the Assembly after declining to deliver an address prepared by the government, which is usually the norm. Now, the governor said multiple reasons led to his walkout. One, he says his mic was muted. Second, he says there were unsubstantiated claims in the address and the speech that was given to him. He also claims an insult to the national anthem. Now, Chief Minister Stalin was quick to hit back at the floor of the Assembly, lashing out to the governor, saying he's insulted Tamils across the state of Tamil Nadu. Let's get you all the details of what transpired in the Assembly first.
It was a power-packed first day of the Tamil Nadu Assembly session. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi and Chief Minister Stalin locked horns in the Assembly. R.N. Ravi walked out without reading the customary governor's address. Tamil Nadu Governor alleged that the address prepared by DMK government was filled with inaccuracies and unsubstantiated claims. After R.N. Ravi walked out of Assembly and left, Raj Bhavan released a statement which claimed that Governor's mic was repeatedly switched off. The statement also added that R.N. Ravi was interrupted when he tried to change the speech prepared by Tamil Nadu government. The statement pointed out that investment figures were inflated, an issue of women's safety completely ignored. Chief Minister Stalin hit out at the governor during the session and cited similar past behavior that he claimed insulted the Tamil Nadu Assembly.
10/4/2023 அன்று ஆட்டுக்கு தாடியும் நாட்டுக்கு ஆளுநர் பதவியும் தேவையில்லை என்று பேரறிஞர் அண்ணா அவர்கள் கூறிய போதிலும் அதை முத்தமிழறிஞர் தலைவர் கலைஞர் அவர்கள் வழிமொழிந்த போதிலும் அந்த பதவி இருக்கும் வரை அதற்குரிய மரியாதையை கொடுக்க அவர்கள் முதலமைச்சர்களாக இருந்த நேரத்தில் தவறியதில்லை. அவர்களது வழியை பின்பற்றி நானும் அதிலிருந்து இம்மி அளவும் விலகியதில்லை.
The issue has snowballed into a full-blown political storm with BJP and allies attacking DMK for treating a constitutional post as its mouthpiece.
It is a very big issue that, expecting, as I already mentioned, expecting the governor to be a mouthpiece of the DMK's government is not fair. You want the governor to come and validate your lies. You want the governor to come and support your manipulative ideas and thoughts. And the governors refuse to do that. It is very simple. So the chief minister getting upset over that is obvious.
The governor categorically refused to state the same and speak the same. He sought the correct data and he wanted that to be set right. And M.K. Stalin, instead of sticking on to the governor's speech, wants to have his own narrative filled into the governor's speech.
While DMK accused the governor of working with a hidden agenda.
We've been used to it because we very well know our assembly proceedings will be boycotted by the governor. Governor has his own political views in that aspect. So he had a fixed agenda to express.
Amid heightened political tensions after the fireworks in the Assembly, this just seems to be a trailer of a bigger showdown ahead of the Assembly elections. With Pramod Madhav, Anaga Keshav and Apurva Jayachandran, Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's take you through the two versions that have essentially played out in the Tamil Nadu Assembly. It started, of course, with the governor refusing to address the House, as is the norm, and then going ahead and staging a walkout. He's done this in 2025, he's done this in 2024, and previously too, it's always been a bone of contention. And as, in fact, we get you those details of really what's played out, you had Governor Ravi saying that his mic was switched off repeatedly. Now, Chief Minister Stalin hit back saying the governor is trying to stall state administration. And this is because you had Governor Ravi saying issues linked to people were ignored in the address. So he says, I don't want to read out the speech because of the text that was in it. Now, Chief Minister Stalin has said that Essentially, what was given in the speech, the text of it reflected what the people of Tamil Nadu felt. This was their voice, essentially, that the governor refused to speak. The governor called all of the claims made in the speech as misleading, said it was full of inaccuracies and unsubstantiated claims. Now, to that, Chief Minister Stalin has said that this is an attempt once again by the BJP to centralize authority and to take away power from the state via governors. This has been, in fact, one of the big showdowns. Now, also what Governor Ravi has said is that there have been fake claims made of mega investment, to which Chief Minister Stalin has said that there are attempts by the governor to interfere in non-BJP states in state matters. Let me bring on this broadcast our panelists. We've got Salem Dharanidharan, spokesperson of the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, K.V. Dhananjay, advocate of the Supreme Court, and we have K.C. Palaniswamy, leader of the AIADMK. Mr. Dhananjay, I'd like to begin with you on what exactly is considered constitutional here. For the governor, when he's speaking in an assembly, is there room for him to kind of reject the speech that's handed over to him by the state?
Absolutely not. And this is a scripted speech, and we follow this convention from what we've seen happen in the UK. It's called a King's Speech. There's also a very popular Hollywood movie by that name. The governor reads out a scripted speech, and the speech will always be congratulatory to the government of the day. So for the governor to say that there were inaccuracies doesn't make any sense. It's entirely possible that people would be dying of hunger, and it did happen in UK. There was a time when people were dying of hunger because there was no food to eat, and yet the government wanted to congratulate itself. So it wrote a speech that was very congratulatory, and the governor simply had to read it. I mean, the monarch there, the king, had to read it in England. So why do we have a problem here in India? It's meant to be a scripted speech, and for the governor to say that there were inaccuracies here or that some things were exaggerated just doesn't make any sense at all. Now, it's understandable if the governor had a problem with the speech once, but now, looking at your broadcast, it's like the governor has had this problem 3 years in a row.
Yeah, third time.
And that essentially, yes, 3 years in a row, that's a lot. So the governor seems to be creating an issue here. The governor, ought not to be doing any of these things.
No, but I want to understand from you also, Mr. Dhananjay, is there room for misrepresentation or for going ahead and understanding what the Constitution says in a different manner? Because if the governor is repeatedly doing this and there's nothing that's been done about it, third year in a row that he staged a walkout, is there room for misrepresentation of what's being said in the Constitution?
Well, the Constitution is quite silent about it. So this is a convention. So this is a healthy convention that we've followed from England and from many other Commonwealth countries that believe that this always is a healthy tradition. I said convention or also tradition. Tradition because it's been followed for a very long time, hundreds of years. So, at the start of the agenda, you have the governor or the monarch come forward and address the gathering. How? Through a scripted speech. And the scripted speech at the end of the day is always going to be inaccurate. How objective can it be? And does it make any sense for the government of the day to hand over to the governor to read, a statement that's critical of the government? It's never going to happen. So the governor, I think, is misreading the Constitution, or he's being wrongly advised, or the fact that, it's happening 3 years in a row also means that the governor seems to really not understand his proper role under the Constitution. And there's a larger context here. The larger context is the fact that in Tamil Nadu, a good number of bills were not being assented to or approved by the governor for a great deal of time, years together. And this matter did go to the Supreme Court, and we've seen the controversy in the Supreme Court in terms of one bench saying that it shall deem to have been automatically approved, and a larger bench saying that that cannot be the case under the Constitution. But notwithstanding the disagreement in the Supreme Court itself over the issue, the fact, however, remains that the governor of Tamil Nadu has done something very unusual, which is to not deal with bills as and when the bills were presented. So if you look at this conduct with that if you look at what's happening now in the context of what's happened before, it looks like the governor, unfortunately, is setting a very unhealthy precedent. And if this goes on for years, it's entirely possible. For a state like Tamil Nadu might say that we will dispense with this governor's address, because if they were to dispense with it, they have not violated any provision of the Constitution. So who would be the loser then? The loser would be. Right now, our Constitution presupposes that the governor would be an individual with integrity and an individual who has no political affiliation and who will strive to be as neutral as possible. So if states start boycotting governors and not invite them to deliver these customary speech, then it's more like, the states too would have pushed governors to a role where, they are more like proxies for the center, where center is by one government, by one political party, and state is by another. So I think it's largely the governor's fault, notwithstanding that for him to say that the mic was turned off. Well,
No, but
it's
this
a
is the
small
third
gathering.
time.
It's an
This is the
indoor
third time that, he's gone ahead and staged this kind of a walkout for different reasons every single time. I'll bring in our political panelists also. We've got Salem Dharanidharan of the DMK and Mr. Palaniswamy of the AIADMK. Dharanidharan, to you first on what played out today, because the governor right now says that, look, there was an insult to the national anthem, that there were mentions in the speech that had inaccuracies, and that's why I chose not to speak and not to read the speech out.
This is boring because every January or every time the Tamil Nadu Assembly convenes, this is the same drama the governor does, and I'm have to come and explain the same thing time and again. Firstly and foremost, let's get it very clear. First, the Tamil Thai Walkout is played, and after the end of the ceremonies, the national anthem is played. This is how it has been suggested by the government of India itself. This is how it's been happening in Tamil Nadu since the 1950s itself. It's not happening today, it was not happening yesterday. Even during AIADMK regime, first Tamil Thai Walkout, then at the last national anthem. Even year before, on the similar protest, the governor walked away. Even then, we clearly explained to the governor, listen, this is how it has been happening even during AIADMK's time when BJP was in alliance with AIADMK. No problem. And another question is, the governor is not elected. He is appointed. He has only duties and no functions. And it is custom, his address is very similar to the Queen or King's address in the UK because we follow the Westminster system. Have you ever seen the King or the Queen digress from the speech or the President of India digress from the speech?
No, fair point.
It is the customary opening remark.
Fair
so
point.
Why is this governor?
Yeah, let me bring in. You've raised a couple of points, Dharanidharan. We'll take it issue by issue, but I'll give a chance to Mr. Palaniswamy to respond. At this point, looking at what was said.
I want to complete my argument.
Yeah, okay, Dharanidharan, go ahead.
This is not the first time that has happened. A year back, he digressed from the speech. Now we see what is written is not the truth. Let's assume it is not the truth. But he does not have a say in saying this is true, this is false. Person so as to highlight his message, thereby spreading misinformation and spreading fake news. That's what I accuse him of.
Okay.
Accuse him of spreading misinformation and fake news.
Okay, Mr. Palaniswamy, your response. Now, can anything really justify what the governor has done? It seems almost as if, he's looking for an excuse to stage a walkout.
No, whatever the concerns raised by the governor regarding the governance of DMK government for the past 4.5 years, he should have left that to the opposition leader, Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy, to raise those things in the assembly. Basically, governor has taken the powers as an opposition leader and he has spoken on that. Having he kept quiet, he has left it to the opposition leader. Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy might have said all that in the assembly record and walked out of the assembly. That would have been more of a smart political move. But
no,
what
so
is
Mr. Palaniswamy,
now,
what you're suggesting is that the governor is acting like the leader of the opposition. You're suggesting the governor is acting like the leader of the opposition.
No. Yeah, it's almost. Because whatever is the omissions, commissions, corrections in the governor's address has to be pointed out by the opposition leader. That's not the job of the governor. That's not the job of the governor. Even if he had not, Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy, who is the opposition leader, might have done it. That's their job. Today he has taken that in his hands, which he has given a scope to the DMK government when elections are nearby, just 100 days. So DMK is making it as a big political issue, as usual, in the Dravidan, something like that they are trying to create. Trying to use it for their advantage on anti-BJP. So rather, governor who should have stick on in his core agenda as per the convention, had he left this or to Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy.
No, but the allegation here, the allegation, Mr. Palaniswamy, the allegation here from the DMK is that the reason the governor is doing this is because he's doing it at the behest of the BJP, of your ally.
No, see, forget ally. See, there is a, in a Dravidian movement, DMK, AIADMK, both are the Dravidian parties. We have a convention for all these years, how the assembly has to function. The governor has to go by that convention. Whatever the issues raised by the governor is the job of the opposition leader. That's not the job of the governor.
This is a rare occasion where I see the DMK and the AIADMK on the same page. On the same page as far as what the governor did is concerned, staging that walkout. The AIADMK therefore agrees that it was unwarranted, the walkout.
Don't take my views as the AIADMK party stand. It's my view that. Don't take that as an AIADMK
so you're representing the AIADMK on my panel. You're representing the party on my panel, sir.
No. I am an ex-MP of AIADMK and this is my view and I am not representing the party there.
Dharanidharan, your response right now,
don't take that as my view as the party.
Dharanidharan, your response to the charge that, the DMK is making this political.
Asking for a right, making it political. As I said, in a Westminster system, governor is nothing but a ceremonial head. The elected government by which the 8.4 crore people of Tamil Nadu has elected the MLAs. The MLAs and Dharan elected chief minister and was established his cabinet. So whatever is written on the speech is nothing but the voice of the 8.4 crore Tamil Nadu people because it is prepared by the cabinet. Cabinet indirectly represents the voice of the people. By digressing or refusing to read that, he is insulting the people. To AIADMK, if Mr. K.C. Palaniswamy's view were that of the AIADMK, I would have been happy to an extent and then would have gone on to ask the next question, why is it then the opposition leader who is in alliance with BJP has not questioned the BJP government saying you should call this governor back? And why is this only happening in states ruled by non-BJP parties or rather parties in opposition to the BJP? Why has it not happened in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat? Can you tell me in the 25 years in Gujarat Assembly, has any governor digressed from the speech given by the elected government? Even one occasion? I can say in all socio-economic metrics, Gujarat is bad. Right, or bad, or rather in related terms, that's worse than Tamil Nadu. We have seen bridge collapses happening in Gujarat. We have seen a lot of crimes happening in Gujarat. Why has the governor not refused to speak there? Or why has he not digressed? Or why has it not happened in Madhya Pradesh when BJP is in power? Or in Bihar when BJP is in power? Why is there one constitution for BJP rule states and one constitution for non-BJP rule states? This is travesty to democracy. And any leader, be in alliance with BJP or not in alliance, should go and question this to the BJP for the sake of the democracy. Until and unless democracy exists, only then the parties will exist. If there is no democracy, parties don't exist. This is erosion of democracy, wherein an appointee who has nothing to do with the people, is completely disconnected with the people, is doing whatever he wants to do. If at all governor is going to advise a government or run the government, then why do people have to elect a state government?
Before I bring in Mr. Dhananjay, Mr. Palaniswamy, you've told us what you personally think about what's played out in the assembly. As a member of the AIADMK, what does the AIADMK stand on what happens, sir? Because the allegation constantly, as Dharanidharan again has said, is that this is an attempt by the BJP to meddle in state affairs.
No, whatever the allegation raised by the governor is a perfect allegation. This government lacks in all that. There is no doubt on that. It would have been more appropriate had Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy given the chance to raise all that in the assembly. Rather, governor has taken that in his hand. So that has given a scope to the DMK party to make it as a political issue, that too when the elections are close by.
Okay, Mr. Dhananjay, I'm going to give the final word to you, sir. With this current situation that's been playing out right now, and it's happening in multiple states, of course, you know, of the government versus the governor, of the governor constantly stalling the assembly, staging walkouts. We've seen this play out in several states. But legally, is there also a recourse that states can actually explore, can look into in such a circumstance? The third year in a row that we're seeing the same situation play out.
Well, no, this would be one of those few matters where one can't just go to the courts at all because this is non-justiciable, number one. Number two, this is unfortunately a very unhealthy pattern. It's not just in Tamil Nadu, it also happened in Kerala, and in Tamil Nadu, it's 3 years in a row. We've had sporadic instances in the past. In 1969, you had the governor in the West Bengal Legislative Assembly refused to read certain statements because in his view, it was inaccurate. And there was, in fact, some realization afterwards, and we didn't see a repetition of these kinds of events. And now we are seeing, unfortunately, a plethora of them. I think it's important for the center to consider recalling the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu because this is setting an extremely unhealthy precedent. And this is not defensible at the end of the day. And I'm so glad that, you know, the individual, the person representing AIADMK was not in a position to defend it because it's not defensible at all. It doesn't matter what political party you belong to. But this is setting a very unhealthy precedent in this country. And the fact that it's happening in opposition-ruled states vis-a-vis the center, I think that's even more unhealthy. And my respectful request to the central government is, please take steps to recall the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu. He's setting an extremely unhealthy precedent.
Agreed. It's setting an unhealthy or wrong precedent right now because you particularly see it in certain states that aren't BJP ruled right now. But I'd like to thank our panelists for joining us on this broadcast, Mr. Dhananjay, Dharanidharan and Mr. Palaniswamy. Thank you for joining us. But it's not just in Tamil Nadu. Today, day one of the assembly session in Kerala, again, similar face-off, government versus governor, which is what I was referring to, that in opposition-ruled states, there seems to be the constant narrative. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan took on the Kerala governor. There was no walkout there, but the governor, Rajendra Arlikar, did in fact make his address, tweaked what was given by the government. So therefore, the Kerala Chief Minister accused the governor of unilaterally adding and deleting portions of the cabinet-approved policy address, alleging key references critical of the centre were deliberately skipped. This led to a big showdown. You, in fact, had the speaker in the Kerala Assembly also backing the Chief Minister, saying any changes to the policy address without cabinet approval is unacceptable. So similar government versus governor showdown playing out in Kerala. To no walkout, the governor did go ahead with the state address, but tweaked parts of it. And that's what led to a showdown.
Governor Sabiye Abhisambodhana നടത്തിയ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിൽ ചില കൂട്ടിച്ചേർക്കലുകളും ഒഴിവാക്കലുകളും വരുത്തിയിട്ടുള്ളത് അംഗങ്ങളുടെയും ചെയറിൻ്റെയും ശ്രദ്ധയിൽപ്പെടുത്തുന്നു. മന്ത്രിസഭ അംഗീകരിച്ച നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിലെ ഖണ്ഡിക 12, 15, 16 എന്നിവയിൽ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ഗവർണറുടെ പ്രസംഗത്തിൽ ചില മാറ്റങ്ങൾ വരുത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഭരണഘടനയുടെ അന്തസ്സത്തക്കും സഭയുടെ കീഴ്വഴക്കങ്ങൾക്കും അനുസൃതമായി മന്ത്രിസഭ അംഗീകരിച്ച നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗമാണ് നിലനിൽക്കുന്നത്.
ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി ഇവിടെ ചൂണ്ടിക്കാണിച്ചത് വളരെ സുപ്രധാനമായ ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. നിയമസഭയെ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ഗവർണർ അഭിസംബോധന ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് നടത്തുന്നത് ഗവൺമെന്റ് വേണ്ടി ക്യാബിനറ്റ് അംഗീകരിച്ച പ്രസംഗമാണ്. അതിൽ നിന്ന് വിട്ടുപോകുന്നതോ വ്യതിചലിക്കുന്നതോ ആയിട്ടുള്ള പരാമർശങ്ങൾ ഔദ്യോഗികമായി അംഗീകരിക്കുന്നതല്ല. അതാണ് നമ്മുടെ സഭയുടെ കീഴ്വഴക്കം. മുൻകാലങ്ങളിൽ സമാന സന്ദർഭങ്ങളിൽ പല പ്രാവശ്യം സഭാധ്യക്ഷന്മാർ ഇക്കാര്യം വ്യക്തത വരുത്തിയിട്ടുള്ളതുമാണ്. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി പ്രത്യേകമായി ചൂണ്ടിക്കാണിച്ച പരാമർശങ്ങളുടെ കാര്യത്തിലും മുൻ തീരുമാനം തന്നെയാണ് നിലനിൽക്കുന്നത് എന്നാണ് ചെയറിന് ഇത് സംബന്ധിച്ച് സൂചിപ്പിക്കാനുള്ളത്. ഓർഡർ. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ഗവർണറുടെ പ്രസംഗത്തിന്റെ കോപ്പി ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട അംഗങ്ങൾക്കും പത്രപ്രതിനിധികൾക്കും ഇപ്പോൾ വിതരണം ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്.
Okay, I'll bring in Shibimol for more details. She's joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram and she's been tracking all that played out in the assembly. Shibi, run me through exactly what changed in the address that was given to the governor versus what he said.
Well, Akshita, there were mainly three changes to from the policy address that was submitted by the cabinet. Mainly, it was regarding one sentence that the state government has written in the policy address, which says that despite all the achievements that the Kerala government has achieved in the last many years, the state is currently facing severe fiscal stress due to certain projects and due to certain steps taken by the central government affecting the fiscal federalism. So this was one sentence that the governor did not read in his policy address. Another was regarding the pending bills. The governors not signing bills for a long time, keeping them for a very long time, and the government approaching the Supreme Court, which is currently been referred to the larger constitutional bench. So these were the main points that the governor did not read in his policy address. In fact, we've seen in the past when it was Arif Muhammad Khan who was the governor of Kerala.
Apologies for interrupting. We're just having to cut across to another big news break that's coming in. We're cutting across live to images from Sector 150 in Noida, the location where a 27-year-old techie died, a result of apathy, of negligence. For the last many days, the hunt has continued in this massive 30 feet deep pit for the car of the techie. It's finally been found. It's been pulled out of that particular area. You can see how vast it is, which is why it took time for the authorities to find the car. But it also speaks of the kind of negligence that was right in front of everyone's eyes and yet was never addressed. But just imagine the ordeal that young 27-year-old techie went through. Yuvraj was stuck on top of that car for hours, yelling for help, begging for help. Nobody came to his rescue, and unfortunately because of that, he died of drowning. In the post-mortem report, it was confirmed that about 1 to 2 liters of water was found in his lungs. Okay, I'll bring in Arun Tyagi for the latest updates. Arun, हमारे पास जो अभी visuals आ रहे हैं, जो images आ रहे हैं, उसमें जो गाड़ी में युवराज थे, वो अभी निकल गए हैं।
जी हाँ, मैं बिल्कुल बता दूं कि पिछले 5-5.5 घंटे से यहाँ पर एनडीआरएफ की टीम लगी हुई है और यहाँ पे कवायद की जा रही है कि गाड़ी निकल जाए और गाड़ी पे जो पट्टा है वो बांध दिया गया है। और मैं आपको बता दूं कि फिलहाल की सिचुएशन है कि गाड़ी बिल्कुल नाले की दीवार तक आ गई थी, लेकिन एकाएक वहाँ पे पट्टा टूट गया है और कहा जाए तो गाड़ी बिल्कुल किनारे पे आ गई है, मिल गई है, लेकिन अभी उसको बाहर निकाला जा रहा है और उस पर दोबारा से पट्टा बांधा जा रहा है और ताकि उसको गाड़ी को बाहर निकाला जा सके।
So live images on your screens right now. What in fact Arun is telling us is that they've located the car, but they're struggling to pull it out. This is essentially a massive pit. So there's a lot of slush there, and then it's about 30 feet deep. So a lot of water. So authorities to actually reach right down to that location and pull it out are struggling. They've been going around on boats with scuba teams through the last many hours trying to locate the car. They've managed to find it, but pulling it out is a huge struggle. And that itself tells you and speaks volumes of the struggle that Yuvraj also went through. He had nowhere to go. He was stuck on top of that car as it continued to sink 30 feet deep. And so he couldn't even get out on his own. Nobody came to his rescue. There was a clear delay also in reaching to that particular location where he was stuck in that pit. As we continue to get you all of these live updates, remember it's taken 72 hours for the authorities just to locate where the car is. That's because of the wide expanse of that area, covered completely in water. In many areas, it's just a whole lot of slush and a lot of wild growth. So it's difficult really to be able to identify the car through that. But now finally they found where it is. They've not been able to pull it out just yet. So we'll continue getting you all of those updates. We're tracking very, very closely live that operation that's underway in that site in Noida. Let's move on now and continue getting you all the latest updates from pole-bound Tamil Nadu. My colleague Pramod Madhav has been travelling to different districts across the state to give you a sense of what the people of Tamil Nadu want addressed in their area. His latest episode is from Rameswaram, where he's spoken to fishermen who are living in fear. Repeated arrests by the Lankan Navy, the threat of years of rigorous punishment has got them all scared to even go ahead and ensure that they practice their livelihood without any problems. Here's Pramod Madhav's report.
election Bashar has reached another district, and this time is Ramanathapuram, where the important aspect is about Rameswaram, because on one side, this is a sacred place, an islet that is connected to the mainland through this particular bridge spot as the fountain bridge. And over there you could see why this particular island is very, very important, because very beautiful. On one side you have coconut trees, and on the other side you could see the... But particularly and against Spanner, this island is considered as a sacred one, because at Rama, Lord Rama, after retrieving his wife Sita, he came over here and he participated in the construction of a beautiful Rameswaram temple where a lingam was placed by them, and that is why this place is a very important tourist spot. This is the beauty, serenity of Rameswaram, which has been governed by various kingdoms earlier, and finally it went to the British Empire. However, this place is extremely important because it's the closest point to Sri Lanka. This is at Gulf of Mannar, and because of which there is a huge problem that we will discuss later. But still, we would like to first show you what is Rameswaram and how beautiful it is. This is the place, an islet where the only form of life source is fishing, and that's why you could see so many boats from this port.
Important aspect of Rameswaram, you heard about the history. The history is behind us, a temple that seems to be very important. But the livelihood of the people of Rameswaram, being an island, is only fishing, and that's why you see hundreds of boats over here. There are two types of boats. One is called as the trolleys, that the one currently here. This is a trolley on that side, and then you also have something called as country boats, which you see over here. It will not be that big. Earlier it used to have sails, and now it is a little bit more modernized. The biggest problem for the fishermen at this spot is that they are dependent on the sea, but they cannot go any close to Sri Lanka. So that is a very, very big problem for them. And even after that, they dare to venture into the sea, knowing that they are being harassed, they are being attacked, and they are being arrested, put hefty fine by the Sri Lankan Navy, because there is no other livelihood. They cannot do farming. There is not much land over there, and all they can do is survive on this. And that is why for fishermen who are supposed to go there and freely fish, that has become an ordeal, a kind of challenge every time for them to go over there and catch their fish and come back.
And those are the images on your screens of the car in which Noida techie 27-year-old Yuvraj was traveling in that fell into the ditch, the 30 feet deep ditch. He drowned to his death. 3 days on, 72 hours on, finally the officials have been able to locate the car, locate the vehicle and pull it out. Those are your images on your screens. It was right down at the bottom of that 30 feet deep ditch, and it's now been pulled out by the authorities. They've had quite a struggle for the last many days trying to even locate it. That entire area filled with water, with slush, with wild growth, they've finally been able to locate it. But it tells you really what 27-year-old Yuvraj had to endure, what he went through as he waited for some help, as he waited for someone to come to his aid. Nobody did, of course, which is why he unfortunately drowned to his death on that cold, cold night over the weekend. And now the car being pulled out after hours of search. Rescue authorities for the last many days have been searching that entire area, going around in boats, taking scuba teams as well to go and dive right in, dive deep and find the vehicle. They've finally been able to pull it out. Arvind Ojha is joining us with more details on this. Arvind, finally the car being located after great difficulty.
4 दिन लग गए कार को निकालने के लिए, और उसके लिए एनडीआरएफ की टीम, गोताखोर, और ये जो प्रैक्टिस है सुबह से चल रहा था ये एफर्ट कार को ट्रेस करने के लिए। पहले कार को ट्रेस किया गया और उसके बाद अगर आप देख पा रहे हैं तो ये जो पानी है इसके अंदर से जो एनडीआरएफ की टीम है वो इस कार को निकाल रही है। सुबह से मशक्कत की गई थी और सबसे बड़ी नाकामी है कि 4 दिन बाद इस कार को ट्रैक किया गया और तब इसको निकाला गया है। ये कोई यमुना रिवर नहीं है, कोई और बड़ा रिवर नहीं है। ये नोएडा के सबसे पॉश सेक्टर में से 150 सेक्टर के बीचों बीच ये जो प्लॉट है जिसमें बेसमेंट खुदा हुआ था उसमें ये बारिश का पानी जमा हुआ था, जिसमें जो इंजीनियर युवराज है उसकी गाड़ी जाकर फंस गई थी, उसकी डेथ हो गई थी और उसको भी रेस्क्यू करने के लिए कई घंटे लगे थे, तब जाके उसको रेस्क्यू किया गया था। तो ये एक बड़ी नाकामी इस पूरे मामले में आई और नोएडा अथॉरिटी की जो लापरवाही थी शायद यही वजह है कि नोएडा के सीईओ को रिमूव किया गया। फिलहाल कार को ट्रैक कर लिया गया है, जिसकी तस्वीरें सामने आ रही है।
So the first images on your screens there of the car that's been pulled out. Remember, and let's just tell you exactly what happened with Yuvraj. He was driving on a day in the night when the visibility was very poor. This was a bend, a very sharp turn, and there were concrete blocks that were just in fact blocking dividing the road and that massive pit. In one area, there was no concrete block. And so because there was no visibility, Yuvraj, instead of taking right, went straight into that pit as a result. He didn't know what to do. This was in the dead of the night. He immediately got out of the car, stood on top of the vehicle, as anyone would do, thinking your fighting chance is to get on top of the vehicle so you don't immediately drown in that massive pit. He had his phone with him. He sought help. He begged for help. Authorities reached there, very delayed. And yet, despite that, there are so many reports, including eyewitnesses, who suggest that there was no attempt even made by the authorities to reach him, that they didn't go into that water and try to pull him out. But having said that, Yuvraj was seated on top of that car, begging for help for hours. He was on top of that vehicle, hoping someone would be able to pull him out safely. He had nowhere to go. He was stuck there, eventually, tragically drowned to his death. But just look at how that car is being pulled out. Amid all of the muck, the growth, the wild growth, the car was stuck right in between that, wedged right in there, and had gone right to the bottom of the pit, which is why it took so much time and effort for authorities to even fish it out. And just imagine the ordeal that this 27-year-old techie had to undergo for no reason at all, for no blame of his. He was stuck in that position. Zero visibility. And anyone who drives through Delhi NCR will vouch for the fact that this happens very often in winter, that you can just barely about see what's in front of you. And so this young techie, driving in the dead of night, no reflectors, nothing along that particular stretch, went straight into that ditch. There has been a crackdown since, with the authorities ensuring that all of the top, including the Noida Authority CEO, is sacked for allowing this kind of a pit to not just be there, but to languish, to lie there with so much of water. The builder, by the way, has also been cracked down on. Bhupendra Chaudhary, who is joining us live from the spot. Bhupendra, हमको बताइए कि क्या हो रहा है वहाँ पे, जैसे हम देख रहे हैं अभी गाड़ी finally they've managed to pull it out.
ये बिल्कुल जो गाड़ी है ये इसे निकाल लिया गया है। इन्होंने काफी करीब 6 से 7 घंटे प्रयास किया, उसके बाद गाड़ी को निकाला गया है। और पहले जब गाड़ी को निकाला जा रहा था वो अंदर इतनी बुरी तरीके से फंसी हुई थी कि जो इनका जिस क्रेन से निकाल रहे थे जो पट्टा था वो टूट गया था। तो गाड़ी दोबारा अंदर चली गई, फिर दोबारा से अंदर जाया गया, दोबारा से उसमें पट्टा लगाया गया। फाइनली इन्होंने 6-7 घंटे का रेस्क्यू करने के बाद गाड़ी को बाहर निकाल लिया गया है। लेकिन बड़ा सवाल ये उठता है, तो गाड़ी तो इन्होंने निकाल ली, लेकिन जिस वक्त 4 दिन पहले अगर ये रेस्क्यू किया जाता तो शायद उस बच्चे को बचाया जा सकता था जो गाड़ी के ऊपर बैठ के लेट के मदद की गुहार लगा रहा था। ये
Okay, Bhupendra getting us that update there from the ground, the tragedy site there in sector 150 of Noida. The car has been pulled out. Let me also highlight here what the post-mortem report confirmed, that young Yuvraj, who was stuck atop that car in the freezing cold, yelling and begging for help, drowned to his death. In his lungs, they found 1 to 2 liters of water. For hours, he tried to fight. He even called his father, saying, "I don't want to die." His father begged for help. And yet nobody could actually reach this young man and pull him out. There are serious questions being asked of the authorities and the kind of help that they were able to provide. Why was the rescue team that was present there not going into the water, not pulling him out, not providing all necessary help? Why wouldn't they have adequate equipment to do so? There are so many questions that are being asked, but just the struggle for the authorities to pull out that vehicle and look at the muck that's being pulled out with it, it gives you a sense really of what it's taken and how much of a struggle Yuvraj really went through. Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor is joining me on the phone line with more on this. Sonal, you were there at that spot early this morning. You saw the hunt going on for this car. But take us through really what that location looks like, Sonal, because that, in a sense, also highlights the glaring lapses that come to the fore.
Just to say that this car that we see on our television screens right now, it's been inside that entire water body for 4 days. It's taken the authorities 4 days to bring out that car. They also lost critical hours to save the life of Yuvraj as well, a very young, promising 27-year-old who could not be saved despite all the authorities being there, standing there and not knowing what to do. It's a national shame that here, in such close proximity to the national capital, this is the situation. But coming back to this car, just look at that. Today, finally after 4 days, the NDRF had actually got onto that water body. They got their boats out, they got divers. They wore their entire suits in, they went in scuba and finally tried to find the car. They got at the location at 11 in the morning. It's taken them now almost 6:45 to get this car out. That again highlights perhaps the massive inefficiency of the system. 4 days later, you finally get your hands on the car and see where it's been found. It's found right there next to the edge. That means perhaps the car was not speeding the way which we were earlier thinking. It fell right into the ditch, flat in. It's right next to the crack, where, also to remind our viewers, as we've been saying since the very beginning, that just 15 days ago, another truck had fallen down the same track. That there was a bit of a dent which is there, where you see there was a breach, and that's where the Grand Vitara went in as well. Now, this at the moment is got in and shocked so many people because, Akshara, this could have been your and my car. This is not a very far off place. It's 150 sector. You have apartments there which sell out for 2 CR, 3 CR on the whole. This is the kind of place people aspire to live in, and look at the facilities there. Look at the infrastructure there. This is shocking, embarrassing, to say the least. And clearly now, like we've been saying from the very beginning, just removing the CEO of Noida Authority, who sat on complaint after complaint for 6 years at a stretch, will not be enough. They've got more answering to do. And what are they doing now? Because remember, several death traps like these deadly right-angle turns, which do not have blinkers, which do not have any kind of barricading, which does not even have a street light or a CCTV camera. There are so many of these all across Noida and Greater Noida. These are death traps and disasters which are waiting to happen. The authorities got to get its act together and figure out how to fix the system to its core.
You're right, Sonal. And, here on India Today, we promise to follow this up. Not just to ensure justice for young Yuvraj, but also to highlight all of those death traps that Sonal was referring to across the country. This isn't just one city's problem. This is an urban nightmare across the country. Let's face it, the kind of infrastructure that we have, accidents, mishaps, tragedies like this are waiting to happen, which is why I would even say that this isn't an accident. It's outright murder. This was something that was waiting to happen, and we've consistently reported of the number of warnings because you had similar incidents of vehicles falling, by the way, through that boundary into the ditch. In those cases, absolutely miraculous that nobody died. But this was a tragedy, therefore, waiting to happen that nobody cared about until, unfortunately, the demise of 27-year-old Yuvraj. And that's all we have time for in this edition of Super 6. Thanks very much for tuning in.